We're going to go over how to import MARC records into your Mandarin OASIS catalog. The first thing you do is log into your catalog, which I've already done here. Go to the left-hand sidebar, and down here at the bottom, you'll see something called Cataloging Tools. And you'd click that, and then you'll see 4 tabs. By default, the first one you'll have is Import. And then you'll have a list of uploaded files that you perhaps have already brought in. If the file that you need has not been uploaded yet, you're going to go to the button down here that says Choose File, click it. You're going to look for your folder that you've stored your MARC record files in. In this case, I'm going to Documents. Yours could be on your desktop. Mine is in a MARC records folder. You'll locate your file, click Open, and then you'll notice here next to the Choose File button now, it has the name of my MARC record file. I click Upload, and now it has uploaded my file. Here it is, the third one down. The next thing we want to do, now that we have our file here, is import the records. If you come to the import box and click the drop down, you need to tell it what type of records that you're importing. Are they bib records or are they patron records? In this case, they're bibliographic, so we select that. And if you're wondering, well, what happens if I don't select something? I'll show you. If we come over here and I say just import, if you forget, that's what it's going to tell you. You have to select an import record type. So you're not going to get very far. So again, we'll click bibliographic, locate my file, come over here to the right, click import. All right, we're at step 1. And if you have used M3 cataloging at all in the past, this is not an unknown screen to you. It's just a little more colorful. But basically your data types are here, marked, delimited, or fixed with. And by default, this is a MARC record file, and this is already selected. We have 5 records here. If we had more, they would be listed, and you could arrow key through them using these arrows here in the lower left-hand corner box that I'm highlighting. You can start at import at row 1 and stop if you only have time. Let's say it's a large file and you're like, okay, I only want to do half of this file. I've got 100 records. You could stop at row 50. In this case, I want to do just the first 3. So I'm going to say I don't have a lot of time. I just want to bring in these first 3 records and work with those. I'll make a note of what the title is that I left off on, and when I come back into this file to re-import, I'll say start import at row 4 and stop at 5. You don't have to do anything with these boxes. You can just leave them at start at 1 and it stops at the end of the file. So the choice is yours depending on how much time you have. The next thing you'll do is click Next. Step 2 is a little different from what you might be used to if you've used the older M3 cataloging. This used to show you a full screen MARC record. What it's doing now is this green box, wherever you see these MARC field tags darkened or highlighted, those are the ones that have information in them. So instead of seeing all those fields at once, you click to move through them. So right now, if we go and click on the 100, there's the author. If we click on the 200, there's the title. Generally, what you're looking for is the 852 and we'll click on that. And mainly what you're looking for here is everything in here from the vendor properly? Does the barcode look correct? Is the price field entered properly? Do your prefixes, if you were specifying, are they correctly in here? So basically it's that type of information. If everything looks okay, you can continue on with next. If you want to see the next couple of records, go up to this current record box where it says 1 of 3. Click the next arrow. You'll see we're still in field 852, but we're looking at the next record. If there was something that you didn't want to bring in, you could uncheck it. So in this case, if I wanted to take this out, I would uncheck it and it won't be brought in. Keep in mind, though, that when you do that, you're going to do it for every single record that you're bringing in, not just that one particular one. Now, if we're happy with what we have, we click Next. And we're back to step 3, which looks relatively familiar. Duplicates, we prompt if duplicates are found. In our case, we don't have to do anything with the barcode box. Holding records, we want to, in this case, we want to generate holding records. We don't need to convert records at this point if you don't want to. This is probably best left at the default unless you're following some sort of specialized set of instructions. You're then going to go and pick the group that you would want these books brought into. In this case, I am just going to bring it into a staging group. And then I'm going to click Finish to start the import. Now, what I want you to notice is it found a duplicate. And this screen would not be much different than you'd be used to. You're going to look at both records, compare, and say, okay, either this record, my existing record, is better than the one I'm bringing in, or the one I'm bringing in is a better record than my existing. That takes care of these first 2 buttons. Or this new record is actually of a different copy entirely, so I need both records, which would be import. Or, I'm not sure, so I actually don't want to import this at that time. And if you clicked Don't Import, it would skip this one record and go on to the next. Now in this case, I happen to know that this is actually identical because this is just a little test file. So in my case, I'm going to say do not import. Okay. So a total of 3 records selected for import. Records successfully imported were 2. Records not imported were 1. And tells you how many holding records were created, how many barcode records were created. At this point, you can print this either on paper or print to PDF if you can. And then you can say, okay, you're brought back to this screen. If you want to see those files that you've just imported, for now, if you go to the Find and Replace tab over here on the far right and click that, you'll be brought into the Advanced Cataloging screen. And on the Advanced Cataloging screen, one of the things that you can do is bring up records by the import date, and that would be the 908A field. So that would then allow you to look at everything that you've brought in for, let's say, today or in the past week or the past month. And if we go here, we're going to say current table again, still bibliographic. And here we would type 908, a pound sign, and an A, and 2-digit month, or 2-digit year, I'm sorry, 2-digit month, and today's date. Put an asterisk in. All right. Now, if you're saying, well, didn't you have 3 records? Yes, I did. However, if you'll remember, I didn't bring in one of those records. So I'm only looking at the 2 that I actually brought in. And you can see my location code here. This is all my bibliographic information. If I scroll over to the right, you can see these buttons here that let me view, which would just basically bring me a pop-up of the MARC record to just look over. Or I can click on this button, which would actually let me edit the bibliographic MARC record. And there it is. And if you wanted to see it in the basic editor, you could go up here in the upper left-hand corner and click Basic Editor. Do any editing that you might think you need to do and click Save. Here I'm going to cancel. The other button at the end allows you to view holdings for that title record. So I've clicked that, and now you'll see this is the holding record. There's the barcode for it, there's the group, and you again have 2 buttons. You can just view, or if you need to edit this holding record, you can click on Edit right here and open that up as well. Edit it, do what you need to do, save it. In this case, I'm going to cancel, and then you would close it and be done. So when you're finished with this and you say, okay, I like where these records are fine, you know, they're ready to go. If you come down in the lower left-hand corner and click Catalog, this purple button, it brings you back into your main screen of OASIS, and you can go ahead and click Circulation and start circulating, or go into Group Editor, whatever you need to do at this point. So that is a brief overview of how to get MARC records into the Mandarin OASIS catalog.